Since getting my VMAX last year, I have acquired a few tire accessories. In this video, I am going to explain each one of those. When I got the bike home last summer and went to check the tire pressure for the first time, that's when I realized I needed a different tool. Because I had gotten away from the pencil type gauges many years ago in favor of this type of gauge, a large analog dial, and I just feel that these are more accurate. So I had a preference for these for a while now. And as you can see, I could get this gauge in there, but it is a bit of a hassle and it barely fits on the front tire, and this gauge, as small as it is, would not fit on the rear tire. So I was stuck using the pencil style gauge again that I do not prefer. So I decided to shop online to see what I could find. And I decided I would try a digital gauge. So I found this, and by the way, the link to this is in the description below, along with the links to the other items that I am going to show you today. So this is pretty simple to use, and it's small enough to where it has plenty of room between the valve stem and the inner portion of the rim. So I felt like, okay, I think it's worth giving a shot. And it's pretty simple. There's only one button. Just push it once, it will come on. As you can see, the LCD, hopefully you can see that, the LCD is backlit, and it has 4 units of measurement. I leave mine on PSI, but for those of you that use different measures, all you have to do is push the button and it will just cycle through the other 3. And then I can return it to PSI. And when you turn it on, it remembers which unit you last had used it, so it will return to the unit that you prefer. And that's really all there is to it, and I will just demonstrate how easy it is to use. Again, I have plenty of room in here. And 41.1, so hopefully you can see that. I'll try and angle it. But that's all there is to it. And to shut it off, you just simply hold the power button. And that's it. So far so good on this one. When I went to put air in for the first time, I realized I had another problem. And that is the standard air chuck that was on my compressor was very tight to get in there as well. Particularly when it's connected to the hose and the valve is up here. It was very hard to get to. So once again, I started looking online to try and find a solution. And I found this. And there are several features that stood out. Number one is the connection. The chuck itself is 90 degrees, and it also has the lever to lock it down. And this is very similar to what you would find on a hand pump, a bicycle pump. So I felt that was pretty convenient. Number two, it has a large analog style gauge. And number three is this button right here is a relief button. So if you over pressurize it, instead of having to disconnect it and try and relieve air pressure, you can relieve it right there by just pushing in on that until the needle comes down to the desired pressure. So I will demonstrate that in just a moment after I hook this up to the compressor. Okay, I have it connected to my compressor. My compressor has been turned on and it is filled with air right now. So we can just hook this up and demonstrate real quick. It's on the valve stem and it is locked in place. And right now, as you can see, there is about 37 PSI in there. So all I have to do is depress the valve to add more air to the tire. And I like it at 42. But let's just say for the moment I prefer 40 and realize that I have put too much in it. Again, there's this valve, the relief valve on the side. I can just press that down and until I get the gauge to read what I want. So I will do that and bringing it back down to 40. And there it is. So that's pretty much all there is to this. So far I'm very happy with this product. This fits all the needs that I have for putting air in the tire. It's very convenient, more ways than one. Okay, the last thing that I have is not so much out of necessity as it was just an item of interest. But what got me going down this road is when I had the rear tire debacle, one of the requirements from the tire warranty company was they needed to know how much tread was left on the tire with the puncture. And the dealership had submitted that. And the requirement was that it be submitted in 30 seconds of an inch, which is pretty popular here in the US. So anyway, it just had me curious as to what the depth of my tires were. And I know there are ways to do it with a penny or whatever, but I decided to have a method of having accurate readings moving forward. So I got this depth gauge, and it's very simple, just 3 buttons. Turn it on, and there are 3 units of measurement, as you can see right here: millimeter, inches, and then fractions of an inch, which again is in 30 seconds. Now to use it, you have to zero it, and the way to do that is you first put it on a flat surface and then press the plunger down until it stops, and then push the 0 button if necessary. So I will demonstrate right here on the floor. So I've got it flush against the floor, push the plunger down, and right now it is already at 0, so I don't need to set it. And then after that, to use it, you basically just straddle the groove in the tire with the device, and when you get it in place, just push the plunger down. And that's all there is. So in this case, it's showing 4/32 of an inch. Now, if I wanted to know what that is in millimeters, I just push the blue button, and there it's 2.86 millimeters. Hopefully you can see that. I'll try and change the angle. And then press it again, and I can get in inches, and in this case it's 0.1135. It breaks it out even further. And then back to fractions, which is 4/32 of an inch. So that's really all there is to this tool. Pretty simple, pretty convenient. So far so good. I like it.
Well, that's all there is to these 3 gizmos. Like I mentioned earlier, the links to all 3 are in the description. If you found this information useful, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. See you next time.